Hello everyone. Let's go through the chapter Indigo from NCERT textbook for class 12th, Flamingo. The chapter is written by Louis Fisher. As we know that Gandhiji worked on the principles of truth and non-violence, and this Champaran movement was also a turning point in his own life. So how it was, let's go through. Let's know a bit more about the author Louis Fisher. He was an American journalist. Among his works were a contribution to the ex-communist treaty The God That Failed, A Life of Mahatma Gandhi, basis for the Academy Award-winning film Gandhi, as well as A Life of Lenin, which won the 1965 National Book Award in History and Biography. These are the main points in the chapter, and after completion of the video you can again have a look at all these 13 points and make sure that you know the answers of all. As this is a historical fact that at Champaran there were sharecroppers and there was landlord system in Bihar which was gravely unjust. Now Rajkumar Shukla was one of the sharecroppers and he wanted Gandhi to help the poor peasants. Rajkumar Shukla is known for his tenacity, persistence, resolve and determination. He was so determined that he followed Gandhi everywhere, in Lucknow, then in Kanpur, then in Kolkata, and finally Gandhi was impressed by his persistence and he agreed to accompany him to Champaran after his Kolkata visit. Mention any 4 qualities of Rajkumar Shukla. This can come as a direct question also, and it is also a part of 6-mark question, that is the power of common man. Rajkumar Shukla of course was a common man. He was a sharecropper, but his tenacity, willpower, determination, his resolve, his persistence impressed Gandhi a lot. Second, where did Rajkumar Shukla want to take Gandhi? So Rajkumar Shukla wanted to take Gandhi to Champaran. Which 3 places are mentioned where Rajkumar Shukla followed Gandhi? So these are Lucknow, Kanpur and Kolkata. When did Gandhi finally agree to go along with Rajkumar Shukla? So it was after his visit to Kolkata. As Gandhiji and Rajkumar Shukla started for Champaran, the first place they reached was Patna, and they reached the house of Rajendra Prasad, who was not at home. Now the servants of Rajendra Prasad mistook Gandhi as an untouchable and they disallowed him to draw water from the well. So Gandhiji realized the problems of common people. He also met the lawyers and chided them also for collecting high fee from the poor peasants. Gandhiji decided to free the poor farmers from fear. Try to answer these questions. Which was the first place they both visited? That means Rajkumar Shukla and Gandhiji. Whose house did they go to? Who was Gandhiji mistaken as? What was he disallowed to do? And why did Gandhi chide the lawyers? The value points you should know. The first place they visited was Patna. They went to the house of Rajendra Prasad. Gandhiji was mistaken as an untouchable. He wasn't allowed to draw water from the well. Gandhiji chided lawyers for taking high fee from the poor peasants. As per the ancient settlement, the British landlords forced the sharecroppers to grow indigo on 15% of the land and they took the entire indigo harvest as rent. Meanwhile, Germany developed a synthetic indigo which was cheaper. The landlords released the sharecroppers from ancient agreement but charged compensation for it. Some peasants signed the agreement willingly as they didn't know what was going on. Some engaged lawyers to resist it. But when the news of the synthetic indigo reached the peasants, they wanted their money back. Let's go through few question answers. Why were the peasants at Champaran called as sharecroppers? As they were growing indigo along with the main crop. On how much portion they were growing indigo? 15%. Which was it another crop? That was indigo. Who forced them? British landlords. What did Germany develop? Synthetic indigo. Why did landlords told farmers not to grow indigo, as synthetic indigo was cheaper? What was demanded by the British landlords? That was compensation from the poor farmers. Why did many peasants sign the agreement, as they had no idea what was going on? And what did other peasants do? They engaged lawyers. From here, you remember the incident in the form of a link. The first in the link is official notice to Gandhi. Gandhi got the news that a peasant in the nearby village was ill-treated. He wanted to go there, but the police stopped him and gave him notice. Gandhi did not go, but he wrote on the notice that he would disobey. So he was served a summon to appear in the court at Motihari. Thousands of peasants turned up on the streets of Motihari to look at the champion of their rights, that was Gandhi. Let's understand in the form of question answer. What news was received by Gandhi? So it was the news that a peasant in the nearby village was ill-treated. As he wanted to go there, the police stopped him. The police gave him notice. Gandhi did not go to that place, but he wrote on the notice that he would disobey. Therefore, he got summoned to appear in the court at Motihari. Thousands of peasants turned up on the streets of Motihari. The police had to request Gandhi to control the crowd, as they couldn't control so many peasants. The second in the link is government was baffled. It's connected with the previous one. As Gandhi reached Motihari, thousands of peasants turned up on the streets. They wanted to see Gandhi, the champion of their rights. The police couldn't control them and were baffled. They had to request Gandhi to control them. The third in the link is Gandhi refused to take bail. As the case proceeded, the government lawyer or the prosecutor wanted more time, and the judge told Gandhi to take bail. But Gandhi said he didn't want time. He said anything he did was for mankind, and if he was wrong, he should be punished, and if he was right, he should be released, and he was left without bail. Try to answer these questions. Why was the government baffled? So on the streets of Motihari, thousands of peasants turned up to see Gandhi and the champion of their rights, and the government couldn't control. Why did peasants come in large numbers to see Gandhi? As they considered Gandhi as a champion of their rights. The demand of the prosecutor was he needed more time. The judge asked Gandhi to take bail for a few hours. Gandhi replied that he had not done anything against mankind. Still, if he was wrong, he should be punished, and if he was right, he should be released, and Gandhi was released without bail. Fourth in the link is battle won. As the case against Gandhi proceeded, there was a fear that Gandhi might be jailed. The local leaders met together and they decided if Gandhi was jailed, they would follow him one by one. Seeing their unity, Gandhi told that the Battle of Champaran is won. The fifth and the last in the link is deadlock broke. The case against Gandhi was dropped. Landlords were scared. They thought Gandhi would ask for 100% compensation, but Gandhi demanded 50%. Landlords offered 25%. Gandhi agreed due to two reasons. Peasants, they overcame their fear, they became fearless, and also landlords lost their prestige. Let's understand through question answer. What was the fear when case against Gandhi started? The fear was that Gandhi might be jailed. The local leaders decided to follow Gandhi in case he was jailed. Gandhi told that the Battle of Champaran was won, seeing their unity. Now, when the case against Gandhi was dropped, landlords feared that Gandhi would demand 100% compensation, but Gandhi demanded 50% compensation and landlords offered 25% only. Gandhi agreed to the proposal of the landlords because his main purpose was to make the peasants self-reliant, fearless, and to be able to fight for justice. Gandhiji was never contented with political victory alone. He worked for the social upliftment of people at Champaran. His two disciples, Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh, started giving education to the people. 3 medicines were provided to the people: sulfur ointment, quinine, and castor oil. His wife Kasturba Gandhi, she raised an awareness among the women regarding cleanliness and hygiene. Now, when the time came that Gandhi had to go back, his one of the British followers, Andrew, he requested that he would stay back and help the peasants in case needed. But Gandhi totally refused. He wanted the peasants to be fearless and self-reliant and fight for their own rights. Let's understand in the form of question answers. How long Gandhi stayed at Champaran? So it was almost an year. The two disciples were Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parekh. They offered to educate the people. His wife Kasturba Gandhi raised an awareness among the women regarding cleanliness and hygiene. The three medicines which were provided were sulphur ointment, castor oil and quinine. The name of the British follower was Andrew, Charles Andrew. The British follower wanted to stay back and help the peasants, but Gandhi refused the proposal because his intention was to make the peasants self-reliant, brave, fearless and fight for their own rights. These are some of the facts regarding Champaran movement. You can pause the video and go through. Do remember that Champaran movement was India's first civil disobedience movement. Thank you.